Welcome to our show, Obsessed, where we talk about cryptids, mythology, folklore, and whatever else we're currently obsessed with. I'm Caitlin Palmer.
And I'm Clay.
And we're
Obsessed.
I waited for you to get to the chair before I started talking. Does that make you feel good about yourself, Clay?
No one knows how many times we have to restart because you don't wait till I get to the chair.
It's true. I just get excited. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Obsessed with the Palmers. And Clay, take it away.
Just take it away.
Just take it away.
This episode is a little bit different than maybe what you're used to because this episode we went to a place.
A super cool place.
So similar to our Rougarou Festival episode, we went to a fun little mystery house.
In Abita Springs, and it is called the Abita Springs Mystery House.
If that wasn't, if you couldn't put that together yourself.
Right, because it's definitely in the title that you clicked on in order to get here, so...
Now, before, I think for at least a little while, it was called the UCM Museum.
Right, it was supposed to be like you see them, like you see them.
Right.
But then they made it the letters, which was super, super fun.
Which was the young son's idea.
Yes, it was the son's idea. So the founders actually saw a fun house in Albuquerque that they enjoyed so much. And they didn't think that it would really, would anybody want that down here? Mm-hmm. But we did, and we love it.
And that place was the Tinkerton Museum?
Yeah, Tinkertown? I think it was Tinkertown.
Tinkertown Museum.
Tinkertown Museum in Albuquerque.
We'll say it a few more times.
Tinkertown. Tinkertown.
So this place is built like one of your stereotypical roadside attractions.
It's giving Gravity Falls in the best way.
Back in the day, and they're not as popular anymore, and that's kind of sad. You'd have these places that would claim to be built on, burial grounds or something, or be atop some sort of, strange crystal cavern that gave it these weird properties. And they'd have all kinds of things, like marbles that roll up slopes, and rooms that are all twisted for no reason, that kind of thing. Something that wasn't really fooling anybody, but it was strange enough that it would bring people in to do business.
Sure.
These places would also usually include what many people would refer to, or at least think of, as cryptids. Some sort of draw to these places. Oh, we've got, the smallest human alive that's been mummified, or,
right.
We've got this strange creature that was killed and we got its pelt. And they're usually bullshit.
Right. The Abita Mystery House boasts a 32-foot alligator. And,
well, it's not just an alligator.
It's 32-foot alligator.
It's the bassigator.
Well, there's the bassigator, too. That's a separate thing.
Wait, I don't remember. Oh, never mind. I remember the alligator now.
Yeah, it's a little taxidermied alligator with 32 feet,
right, yeah.
other feet.
Yeah, it's in a box and you gotta look into it.
It's adorable.
It's basically like, hi, I got you. So the way this is set up is the founder, whose name is John Preble, opened this with his wife and kids after going to that Tinkertown Museum and wanting to do his own sort of Southern Louisiana spin on it. Hence why a lot of what we will be talking about is going to be part alligator.
Almost everything at the Abita Mystery House is part alligator, and I'm here for it.
So the main draw is, of course, Daryl the Dog-A-Gator.
Daryl the Dog-A-Gator is everything. I bought Daryl merch, and I would go back today and buy more Daryl merch.
Yeah, we didn't get a shirt, but we did get a magnet. And Daryl the Dog-A-Gator, of course, being a dog body with an alligator head, this preserved taxidermy.
But it's not actually, I think it's just an alligator pelt that they made to look like a dog body.
Yeah, I don't know how we did it.
Because it's scaled all the way around. It's all alligator
We should be transparent. Daryl the Dog-A-Gator is likely a hoax.
He probably is. He lives in my heart.
One thing that you might think of when hearing about places like this is the traveling sideshows that would have things like the Fiji Mermaid.
Oh, yeah. So if you don't know the Fiji Mermaid, it was a hoax. It was started in the 1800s. Some Japanese fishermen took a fish body and they cut off the head, and then they added a monkey-like torso. So it's a real mermaid.
Right, yeah.
Well, even P.T. Barnum thought it was creepy.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. It does look creepy.
It looks absolutely terrifying. And now they're kind of just a fun with a question mark attraction. Barnum described the original Fiji mermaid as, quote, an ugly, dried up, black-looking diminutive specimen, about 3 feet long. Its mouth was open, its tail turned over, and its arms thrown up, giving it the appearance of having died in great agony. So it's a mermaid.
It's sort of
if you want to call it that.
A tiny monkey mermaid.
Yeah, a little monkey mermaid.
Because it's not very large.
No, they're very little. But they do have a Fiji mermaid, but I think that theirs isn't an actual monkey skull.
Also, spoiler, P.T. Barnum kind of sucks, but I think everybody knows that.
Yeah, no, P.T. Barnum sucks big dick, and not in a sexy way. You're going to have to edit that out.
Yeah, of course. Well, the Abita Mystery House has its own Fiji mermaid, because no sideshow attraction would be complete without it. The layout of the place is, I dare say, expertly done.
It is genius.
So he opened it up in an old gas station.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's the front, and you walk directly into the gift shop.
Right.
Where you will see all kinds of strange things. He's got a fantastic collection of posters and magnets that say all kinds of wild things. You've got Daryl merch. You've got, merch talking about the Abita Mystery House itself. Lots of fun things.
Yeah, of course, as of when we're recording this, it's the Christmas season, so we were like, ooh, stocking stuffers.
Right.
He had all of those little tiny, little derpy Pokemon, the ones that are so stupid looking you love them.
Yeah, the ones that were like mass-produced and poorly manufactured.
Right. And everything is so either cheap or reasonably priced.
It really is. A lot of the stuff in there was 50 cents to $1. So,
yeah, I mean, you can, don't be like, oh, that's a tourist trap, it's expensive. Go. Please go.
It is a tourist trap in the most
endearing way. Right. The Abita Mystery House is very self-aware. It doesn't seriously claim for Daryl the Dog-A-Gator to be real. I mean, they post... Oh, well, I mean, he's real to me. Anyone who knows me knows how much I love Daryl the Dog-A-Gator. But they do. They have really cute little things like, Daryl the Dog-A-Gator, is it real? Is it a dog? Is it an alligator?
My favorite is the one that's the horse-a-gator.
Yeah.
And underneath it just has the question why 3 times.
Why?
Why?
Why? I got a picture with the horse-a-gator.
Yeah, the horse-a-gator is amazing. They put it on a little bicycle. Out front they've got this moon buggy, which looks like the back end to like an old like
a carriage.
Horse-drawn carriage,
yeah.
Right? With these very big oversized wheels. I didn't know this at the time, but we picked up a free little booklet that they have in there. It's almost like a brochure, but not quite. But it tells you more about the place. If we're being honest, that's where we're getting a lot of this information from.
Sure. It's not a place. I couldn't find any other podcast episodes about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I'm sure there are.
More
but
people
I
need
find
to go
them.
to this place.
Do it. We're pioneering the podcast for the Abita Mystery House.
But this little moon buggy actually runs. I don't know if it still does. It looked like it was collecting dust out front, but at one point it did. It had a little motor that actually propelled the wheels forward. The booklet mentioned that it was at a walking pace, but still pretty fantastical.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's lots of little handmade figurines, and they look like they were made out of clay. It's a giant art exhibit, really, more than anything else. If you've ever been to Meow Wolf, it's like a Louisiana Meow Wolf.
So we should probably mention there is a price to get into the museum. You can go into the gift shop for free.
Right. Well, no, it's free to go in the museum.
Well, right. You don't pay to get in, as the owner said. You pay to get out. So you get to go through the museum, and then when you come back in and exit back through the gift shop, it's $5 a person. So,
yes.
Like, the cheapest tourist trap I've ever been to.
It's so fun. And so many people ahead of us, because we got lost in the gift shop looking at stuff, not literally lost, but we were just, like, mentally lost.
Yeah, every time you turn around, you see a basket with something else in it. You're like,
right.
Well, let me look through this, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And then we tried to go ahead and just pay to go in, because that's what you do everywhere else.
Right.
We're like, no, you pay to get out. And so many people in front of us were like, okay, well, we want to admit, please. And they're like,
Right.
No, you pay to get out.
So the property, once you go in, you exit out the back of the old gas station, or the gift shop as it is now, and you enter into this courtyard that has several other buildings, and it's laid out in a pretty simple, like, U shape. You can kind of do a circle through and hit everything. It is literally just a collection of the weirdest junk you've ever seen in your life.
The weirdest shit you've ever seen.
And I don't think the owner would mind me calling it junk.
No, I think he's very self-aware of it. There's like 10,000 plus bottle caps.
Right, on the property, there's one building, which we'll talk about here shortly. But even in just the gift shop, if you look straight up, the ceiling is lined. The entire ceiling is covered in circuit boards from all kinds of old tech.
It's almost like a hoarder's paradise, but in a
kinda
good way.
is,
Yeah, like in a good way. Like in a...
It's not cramped or crowded.
No,
it's all
no.
laid out. Everything has its place.
It's not dirty. It's clean. It's really, really fun.
But one of the first things you'll see once you exit is Daryl the Doppelganger.
Yes, so he starts out strong. You know,
right, yeah, just right there.
You really start at the top, and Daryl the Doppelganger does have a food bowl. I was happy to see that. Daryl the Doppelganger is not as big as you expect him to be.
He's like a small dog.
He's a little guy. He's just a little guy.
He's a little fella.
And a little boy, and I love him.
Immediately to your left, there is an old well that he has living goldfish in.
Yes, and they're so pretty.
The little booklet even mentions, like, everybody loves goldfish. And he's right.
Everyone does love goldfish.
And it's like, I've seen a billion goldfish in my life, and I still stop to look at the goldfish.
Right, it's like cows when you're driving. It's like cows.
Right, everybody points out the window. Cows.
Even though
like we're all cavemen.
Cows. I do get excited to see cows, and I do get excited to see goldfish.
But inside the shack off to the side is some old, like, decommissioned technology, as well as two robots. One that is built out of, I don't think car parts, I think just kind of junk. And another one that's built entirely out of circuit boards.
Yes, and they're so good. There is a robot that has a little robot wiener and whisks for hands, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah, I think he was, like, made out of, like, a heater or something, and one of his arms is like a whisk.
Yeah, that's his strong arm.
That's what I said, he's just made out of junk. Oh, the little goldfish well also has a whale. The little goldfish well also has a little water wheel that's like made out of tin cups or something.
Oh, and it's so beautiful. It makes a noise. It's amazing.
Yeah, it makes a great noise. You immediately walk into another building, which I think that's the building that was there before. There were a couple of buildings that were on the property when he got it, and he turned one of them into one thing and another into another. I'm not sure if that's the one that was inside, but it's called the exhibit hall. That's where you'll see the collection, the little dioramas of all the little clay figurines.
Little clay figurines, little tiny, like there were some like Happy Meal toys in there.
Right.
There were some little vintage toys and like just little stuff, like little knickknacks.
Little stuff.
I love little stuff. I live very much a maximalist lifestyle. At one point, there are little toy sharks hanging from the ceiling, and I cannot tell you the joy.
Caitlin enjoyed immensely.
I did.
There's a lot of signs around, and there's a couple that are really good. I like the one that says, if you have 3 or more, it's a collection. A museum has over 3 collections.
The math isn't wrong, but it's like Caesar died over 70 years ago.
Right, yeah.
It's like it's not wrong, but...
Technically, it's true. But the little dioramas are real nice. There's a couple that are dedicated specifically to the Louisiana area. Places like Bourbon Street and things like that.
Sure.
There's a little thing with like Mardi Gras parade going on.
So Abita Springs, Louisiana is very close to Mandeville and Covington. Abita Springs is the smallest of those 3. Abita Springs itself, we actually got married in Abita Springs. It's
within city limits.
Within city limits. And we, so the reason we went to the Abita Mystery House, we were going to a Christmas night market
Which is literally across the street.
Literally across the street, and Mama D's.
Yeah, and there's a fantastic pizza place called Mama D's, and you should definitely go there.
Please go there, because they said they're not that busy, and we don't understand why.
I don't get it. So I travel for work a lot. I drive doing working at a pet crematory, and I pick up from various clinics, and I drive, 200 miles one way and then 200 back in a day. I stop at a lot of different places to eat because there's lots of local places along the way, and I like to try local places. Well, there's plenty of pizzerias around that place, too. Mama D's, I have a favorite place in Foley called the Brick Oven. So shout out there. That one's free. Steve, you owe me a friggin' pizza. it's been my favorite place for a while. Mama D's made me reconsider. I think I'm still going to put Mama D's at number 2, but the fact that it jumped up that high that quick.
You don't understand. The brick oven is over 2 hours from our house. We have gone there.
We've gone there just to do that before. We spent like the day in Foley, but...
Yeah, Foley's amazing.
I think one of the main things is like, Caitlin, you got to try this pizza.
Okay, so unpopular opinion. I like pizza, but it's not my favorite thing.
I think it's an unpopular opinion. Pizza's good, and then just everybody's like, no!
Yeah, right. Everyone hates pizza.
You monster!
Everyone fucking hates pizza. God. But, I mean, it's like, I work in vet med. We get pizza parties, so we get kind of burnt out on pizza. But I got a sandwich, and I have to say, I ate half of it, was more than full, and then I actually ate the leftovers because I notoriously waste leftovers just because I'm human trash. That's probably part of why I enjoyed the museum so much. I belong there. But I ate it as leftovers, and that sandwich is a leftover? That was a spiritual experience. I saw God.
I saw God.
I saw God.
So a lot of the little dioramas in the building actually have little buttons you can press to either light them up or activate some sort of small mechanism. You kind of just got to go in there and just hit the buttons. You're actually encouraged to just hit the buttons.
Right.
If you go into a place like this.
There's a couple of things that do require quarters.
Yeah, so
They're totally optional.
Totally optional, but bring a pocket full of quarters just in case.
Yeah, and one of them straight up has a button that says don't press.
And if you do, it just takes your quarter. It doesn't do anything. And there was only one way to find that out.
And I wasn't even mad about it.
They got a couple of old arcade cabinets in there that have 1 to 2 games on them that you can stop and play. They're free. Those don't actually require quarters. From what I saw, it was really just the various little contraptions.
Right. Ladies are invited and respected per a sign, which is amazing. There's all kinds of little signs with little different sayings. One, something to the effect, if you have a bad attitude, don't enter.
Right. Let's see. I actually got a picture of that. Mad, angry, upset, hungry, sleepy, disgruntled, do not enter. I mean it.
I want that on my house.
Right. Well, then you wouldn't be allowed to enter your own home.
Oh, fuck me.
Inside, behind a glass cage, there is a large, quote, macaroni marble machine.
Yes, and it's made out of popsicle sticks.
It's made entirely out of popsicle sticks, and this thing is pretty friggin' big.
It's a unit.
It's a whole unit, and I don't think it requires a quarter, but you can hit a button, and it knocks.
It's like a pull lever.
Yeah, it's like a pull lever. You pull it, and it launches a metal marble up top, and it just kind of rides this popsicle stick roller coaster all the way down. Plenty of fun. Plenty of fun to be had there.
Yes, they've got all kinds of fun little dioramas. One's actually a wedding venue, and it says, book your next wedding here.
Yeah.
Which was so fun. It's very self-aware.
They got like a New Orleans like jazz funeral.
Yes.
There was one diorama, and it was of 3 taxidermy chickens, one of which had 2 heads.
Right, and I didn't even catch that until
and
we
they were
looked
like
back
all
at
in
the
a
book.
boat, like fishing or whatever. It's wild.
Lots of little vintage photos and like paintings, and just it gives like garage sale, yard sale, flea market that you can visit, and it's amazing. There's a giant rat that I was very excited about.
There was a giant rat.
It's not a real rat.
No.
Unfortunately. There is a career counseling machine, and so I've been having an existential crisis lately. I'm like, what does the Abita Mystery House think I need to do with my life? And it didn't tell me.
Well, that's what it thinks.
That's
You're
actually the one
right.
that has push or don't push, and if you don't,
right,
if you
yeah.
press don't push, it takes you money. So I guess it's telling me not to quit my day job.
Unfortunately, that machine seemed to be down or inoperable, because when you hit the right button, it does attempt to, with air, blow like a styrofoam ball up, and it's like a Plinko machine.
Right.
But it couldn't make it to the top. We dumped a couple quarters there just trying to get it to go.
Yeah, either way, though, I mean, it was
The fact that it didn't work actually lends to the authenticity of this place.
Right? Oh, little
Like, it didn't
sideshow
work,
attractions.
and I wasn't mad. I was like, yeah, that's actually what I expect to happen.
Right. Oh, and Crisco the Clown.
Oh, God.
Everyone hates Crisco the Clown.
Everyone hates Crisco the Clown.
Crisco the Dancing Clown. So It's like one of those toy machines, but it's this very vintage, very creepy, very pointed makeup, which clowns are specifically not supposed to have because it's scary. They're supposed to have rounded makeup.
Right.
That's actually part of why John Wayne Gacy made Pogo the Clown pointy.
Right.
So I noticed that. I thought that was kind of cool. But it says, "Hey kids, play with Crisco the Dancing Clown."
And I don't want to.
And we don't want to play with Crisco the Dancing Clown. But I appreciated him because, unpopular opinion, I kind of like clowns.
I guess.
For the creepy factor.
I'm not like super creeped out by clowns,
Nah.
but when clowns are designed as a horror piece, I find that creepy.
And Crisco, you're haunted.
Yeah, Crisco looks like he was designed as a horror piece, but then tried to pass off as he's not designed as a horror piece.
You know, Crisco was 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
I still like him, though. There's a statue, and we've been seeing it here and there. It's a 3-headed dog.
A three-faced dog.
Three-faced dog,
Yeah, it doesn't have
not
3 heads.
Yeah, it's not like Cerberus, but it's like
Right.
a dog face, and then there's muzzles
a
coming out
snout
the side.
and there's an eye in between the 3 snouts, like each of them. And originally we saw this in an antique store here in town, and it was this little effigy that's not for sale. And I'm like, oh, well, that's haunted.
Yeah.
Which I posted on our Blue Sky. If you want to follow us there, you can. It'll shameless plug. But then we see this one here at the Abita Mystery House, and I was like, this has got to be something, right? Like, it's the exact same sort of statue. It's not the same statue. The other one was larger and looked really old. This one looks like maybe someone tried to restore it, like painted over it or something.
Yeah.
So, look, hey, if you guys know of a weird, creepy, 3-faced dog cult, let us know about it, and maybe we'll do an episode, I guess.
Yeah, please, because everything I've looked up, it just brings up Cerberus.
Right. Which
But it
has
is...
3 heads, sure, but not 1 head with 3 faces on it.
Yeah, it's like a biblically accurate dog.
Yeah. It is surrounded by countless rings with countless eyes.
Right.
And holding a flaming sword.
Oh, gosh. They have a donations box, very church-like, that says, "Your donation will help us open the Shed of Revelations." And I am patiently waiting for the Shed of Revelations.
Right. I don't know if it's a real thing, or if it's one of those things that's designed to kind of get you to, like, drop $1 here or there, which is very classic,
right.
sideshow attraction thing. Because there are 2 places on the property, one called the House of Miracles and the other called the House of Shards. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was going to open another building full of junk called the Shed of Revelations.
I'm here for the Shed
But
of
it could also
Revelations.
be a minor scam meant to drain you of $1, and I'm fine with either.
I'm telling you, like, playing devil's advocate, all the quote-unquote money we got scammed out of, it was enjoyable, every bit of it. And we're talking like $1, 25
Yeah, it's
cents.
$5 per person to enter the place.
Right.
I did not mind losing another $1 here or there, just having literal fun.
The most fun. Oh, and the 32-foot alligator we talked about is inside of a suggestion box.
Yeah.
That you have to peek into to see the 32-foot alligator. And it's an alligator that has 32 feet.
Right. The word foot is spelled out. It's not FT.
Yeah.
So technically they're not lying. It is a 32-foot alligator.
And you can see the 32-foot alligator right there live at the Abita Mystery House in Abita Springs, Louisiana.
Yeah, it says see it live. It is not alive, but
It's
you
very
are.
much not alive.
Right. But you get to see it live.
Right, because you're
Not
alive.
dead. Yeah.
Because you're alive. There's so many amazing little taxidermy things, and feel how you will about taxidermy. I know that can be a little touchy for some people, but it's all funhouse type stuff.
Yeah, amongst the collection of things there are a couple of things for some Alien fans. One of them is a creepy, like, gray man statue. Just kind of in the middle of some junk.
Just in the middle of some bicycles.
Like old bicycles and like old arcade games and stuff. He's just hanging out there. There's all kinds of crazy posters and things.
There was this one, and I wanted to talk to the owner about it, but I didn't because I was like, Clay, let's see if we can interview the owner. And he was like, no. So we didn't. But there is a statue, and on top of the statue, or within the statue kind of, is a little photograph of a dog that looks to be like a golden retriever or maybe a yellow lab golden retriever. And I want to know that dog's story because she's got a sweet sugar face and I love it.
We were going to talk to the owner, but I think he left on lunch break by the time we came back around.
Possibly. You can dance on someone's grave, and by you, I mean some little toy skeletons can dance around.
Right, you can press a button and the box will line up and animate the little toy skeletons.
They're fun. There's a whole bunch of trophies that nobody...
Yeah, just a collection of trophies. Oh, yeah, the Wolverine Gator.
The Wolverine Gator. It was found in the northernmost of the United States. Enjoys freshly fallen snow and likes Oreo cookies for breakfast.
Yeah, so a lot of the little plaques will say things like that, or even allude to the animal still being alive.
Right. There's also the Coyote Gator. A canine native to the U.S. would love to visit Tahiti one day and collects Hummel figures.
And both of these, of course, are just alligator-headed creatures.
Right. Well, the Coyote Gator is all...
Yeah, that's all gator, just kind of in a doggish shape.
Sure. You've got, like, the Bassigator, which is just a gator.
A two-headed Bassigator.
Oh, my God, that's your face.
Oh, you thought... Okay, so she was looking at a picture of it, and it looked like there was, like, a skull. There was a skull in the scale pattern, but it was just my face being reflected in the glass that was separating me from it.
And this is the real heads of a two-headed iguana salvaged from the lost tribe of Lower St. Bernard. And it's just a head of an iguana.
It's just one of the heads.
It's just one of the heads.
But there were two.
There used to be two. And then we've got Claire the Cluckigator, who is part...
Right.
who is part chicken and part alligator. We've got Stella the Squirreligator. And then we've got Cecil the Cyclopsigator.
The Cyclopsigator kicked ass.
It really did.
It just had the one eye in the middle of its head. You could hit a button and it'd light up.
It's so creepy looking.
It was pretty creepy because it's kind of a dimly lit room that we were in to begin with.
Right, yeah. It's all very spooky. This was a really cool art piece. I posted it on the Instagram and Facebook, but it's a face inside of a tree, and I thought it was David Bowie at first, but it's not. But it says, "My greatest skill has been to want but little," and I liked that.
There was a curio cabinet full of various skeletons.
Lots of skeletons.
Yeah, little...
Not real skeletons.
Right, no, of course not. But they were all, like, posed and dancing about.
Doing little silly skeleton things. We've got this really cute little alligator that's dressed up like a little child. Like,
yeah,
like a little 1940s
clothes.
toddler clothes. Very, very sweet. Oh, Brittany the baby Allisapien upset me.
Yeah, so this one was neat because it was an alligator body with a human head.
Right.
It was a small alligator body with like a adult human skull on it.
If you don't already know, Louisiana has a lot of alligators.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Right.
So we did go, there was a small little shack called Sister Claire's like fortune telling and live bait shack. Which is kind of another little joke about Louisiana.
Right.
And this place was great. It had an old style, like, you know, fortune telling. It had like the bust of somebody. You put in a quarter and it tells your future or whatever. Unfortunately, she was out of paper receipts. She could not print out our fortune. So we did lose a quarter on that one. And again, that felt about right. But it looks like people were encouraged to graffiti inside of the shack.
There was so much graffiti, and I'm very upset with myself that I didn't add to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, didn't think to bring a marker or anything. But next time we go, we will.
We will.
We'll put a sticker for the podcast up in there too for everyone to see.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of dicks.
There was
a lot of dicks drawn on the wall, and as you could expect.
And there was no attempt to cover the dicks. Somebody wrote, "I heart fat cock," and that is a quote by Queef Queen.
Queef Queen.
And then someone drew an arrow pointed to it and wrote, "That's gay."
Yeah, just literal, like, toilet stall stuff.
It's so great. Oh, God, it's so good.
So there was a door, and it had a sign on it that said, "This is not a door," and it said, "The Shed of Revelations." So I don't know if that's a set piece to go along with the joke that it's never actually going to be completed, or if it means it actually will be completed.
I'm begging you, sir, please complete it.
So the outside sections of all of this is they've got all kinds of things. You've got like typewriters up on the roofs of the place. They've got a shit ton of windmills poking out of everything.
Just everything.
Just everything. The House of Shards that Caitlin was talking about earlier, you'll notice it for sure, because as you're walking along the path and you go to enter another little house, the outside walls are covered in various glass shards.
Yeah, it's almost like a it's kind of so like, you know, the backsplashes that some people have in their
kitchens
or their
behind the sinks
bathrooms
and stuff.
It's like that, but it's just a lot of random glass.
Yeah, it's just a lot. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
None.
That was actually one of the buildings that was there before. It was a 1920s barn.
And there was a toilet in there. And
oh man, that bathroom.
I didn't know if it was a real bathroom. I wasn't going to be the one to try.
It's set up like a public restroom, but I don't know that it is, because it is seamlessly integrated into the House of Shards. The bathroom itself, wall, floor, and ceiling, all glass shards.
Right. I wonder if you went back there, if you went in and you're like, do you have a restroom? And you went out there and you like say that is a real restroom, and you went out there and you used it and you came back, you think he'd charge you $5?
I don't know.
I like to believe he would.
That he would. He'd be like, oh, I see you used the toilet.
You came back.
That's an extra $3.
Damn it.
The exterior wall includes over 15,000 pieces of ceramic plates, tiles, colored glass, and mirrors.
And again, no rhyme or reason. It's just
kind of, it's there. That's what it is.
It's just a magical collage of glass.
Another one of the signs that I really liked was be strange, not a stranger.
Yes, it was so sweet. There was a lot of Southern hospitality. But there was this one sign that made me feel some kind of way, Clay. Strange girls. Can they marry men? Have children? Do laundry? Be happy? As they are? Why were they born?
Yeah. Very, very, like, sarcastic. Sort of like, what's the purpose if not to do these things?
Yeah, I'm a childless cat lady, so I was kind of like, okay, guys, come on now.
There was also Edmund the Allosapian, which was another larger alligator body with human skull on it.
Which was very upsetting.
Yeah, those two, that one and the other Allosapian, were extremely unsettling to look at. Less cute than Daryl the Doggator or the Horsegator.
Considerably less cute than Daryl, because nothing is as cute as Daryl. Clay's favorite word is sauce. And
are we going to talk about the hot sauce house?
Yeah.
We should talk about the hot sauce house. So, the hot sauce house is this little, almost, not quite a doll house. Like, it's small, almost like you'd expect.
Like a big kid's playhouse.
Yeah, like a slightly larger kid's playhouse. And it's sealed off. You can't actually, like, get in there, but you can see there are shelves all inside that cover the walls, and even in the front, in sort of like an ascending order, hot sauce bottles. Just friggin' everywhere. I don't know how many there are. There's got to be hundreds.
Literally hundreds.
Literally hundreds. And it's so great because it reminds me of, and I'm not sure what they're called, but they're like these little Japanese kami...
oh, like the shrines.
Kami shrines, yeah.
It's a shrine of sauce.
It was a shrine of sauce, and it was beautiful.
It was Clay's favorite thing, and it's decorated with the lids of paint cans.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Because why not? Yeah, no, everything is covered in paint can lids and bottle caps and circuit boards and just all kinds of shit.
And we should mention that they have applied for a permit, but the property is being restored to the Jurassic Age.
Right, yeah, there's a little sign saying as much. There was also a very large bassigator.
Huge bassigator.
Let's see, I think it has a name. Let me see.
We didn't know it was going to be there. We were coming to the end, the end of the museum, and it's outside, and I turned around, I was like, Clay, look!
It's friggin' huge.
It's gigantic. It's this humongous alligator head.
Buford the bassigator.
Oh, that's a good name for him.
Yeah, no, he's huge, and we got a picture of me next to him. He's like the size of, like, I don't know, he's about the length of, like, a van.
Yeah, he's like the length of the museum almost. He's massive.
And you might miss him if you don't go around, because he's kind of in a corner out by himself.
Right.
The pamphlet says that he was built for two reasons. One, it is a Mardi Gras parade float. Two, is an exhibit for the Mystery House. So
oh my gosh, that would be such a cool parade float.
It looks really good.
It really does.
I don't know what it's made out of, because it is outside, so it can't just be like paper mache or something, but it is fantastic.
It's quite possibly the second best thing there.
Oh, it has a quote in here. Preble enlisted Abita artist Dave Kelsey to help catch or this 22-foot bassigator.
Oh, well, that was very nice of him. Thank you for risking your life to catch the bassigator. Across from the bassigator, you will find probably what the Abita Mystery House is known for, and that is the UFO that crashed next to their camper where they were camping next to an abandoned gold mine.
Right? Yeah, it kind of just that's the point where it reaches like
peak absurdity.
Yeah, peak meta, self-aware is like, yes, here's a UFO that's crashed into my camper next to this abandoned gold mine that I just found. It's kind of like 3 individual jokes that have been wrapped into one.
Yes.
In a truly fantastic manner.
It's so fun. And we took a picture with the flying saucer because, of course, you take a picture with the flying saucer. And you could actually go in.
Oh, no, the flying saucer is built into the side of the camper. We took a picture next to, I believe they're called a bathysphere. It's kind of like a diving bell that you'd put people in and it'd go down deep, but it'd be pressurized, and they could spend some time there.
Well, but the point is it looks like a flying saucer.
Yeah, I mean, it's old tech that isn't really used anymore, and it looks very strange, and a lot like a flying saucer.
Very much like a flying saucer. Well, I took a picture with it, believing it was a flying saucer, but Clay's right. The flying saucer is indeed crashed into the trailer that is next to the abandoned gold mine.
It's like sticking out the side of it.
It's amazing.
There's also Tina, the Louisiana alligator snapping turtle, who apparently resides on the premise. We did not run into her, but that's pretty Louisianian.
That's pretty Louisianian,
There's
yes.
a picture in the brochure of them having picked up this literal dinosaur and holding it up for a picture, and it's extremely pissed off.
Right. So, what's the mystery of the Mystery House? We still don't know.
Yeah.
We still don't know. He, when he made it, he made a comment that he had done about 80% of what he wanted to do. And now he believes that he actually has 80% more to go, which makes me very excited for the future of the Abita Springs Mystery House.
One other thing for sale up front is jewelry.
Oh, yes, and it's so beautiful.
So his wife had passed some time ago, and she made jewelry to be sold there. And after she had passed, Nancy Ashworth, her longtime assistant, kept the jewelry studio open and continues to make jewelry to be sold up there.
Right. So they're at and you can buy them at the Abita Mystery House, and they're made from her original designs.
Right.
And they're beautiful. They're like wire wrapped. They're stones. It's absolutely beautiful.
This is a fantastic place. If it was closer, we probably would have already went again just to try to catch the things we didn't catch the first time.
Honestly, yes, because after we went and we came back out, we went to go check out, and they had the souvenir book, which is where we got a lot of our information, obviously, but you should still get it because the pictures are so good. And some of the lighting, I mean, we took a lot of really good pictures, but some of the lighting makes it difficult to capture a really good picture.
Yeah, it's pretty dim in some of those places, but that kind of leads to the like, ooh, this is secret, you weren't supposed to see this kind of thing.
Supposed to be back here. So the Fiji mermaids kind of freak me out. Like, not a lot of things freak me out, but the Fiji mermaid kind of freaks me out. And so I was like very slowly checking around corners every time because I didn't want to just suddenly be face to face with the Fiji mermaid.
Now, Mr. John Preble probably would not appreciate me saying this, or maybe he would. He seems like a cool guy. But you've already spent the $5, or you're about to spend the $5 when you go back up front. Take a second lap around, because you definitely missed something. You'll find yourself sort of like looking at one wall and walking the length of that wall, only to realize that there was stuff
There's
behind
another
you.
Side of the wall,
Right,
yeah.
yeah, the
stuff
whole
on
time.
The ceiling, stuff on the walls, stuff within stuff. It's overwhelming in a fun way.
Yeah, it's very carnival and whimsical.
Yes. An absolute 10 out of 10. Best tourist trap we've ever found. If you like Gravity Falls, even if you don't like Gravity Falls, just go.
Yeah, just go.
If nothing else, Daryl.
If nothing else, you can get some of Mama D's pizza on the way out.
And you have to.
And
then,
you should.
And you should go on a Sunday so that you can also go to the Abita Springs Farmers Market.
Yeah, so the little farmers market is kind of like a little street fair set up in their park. It's great.
There's like 3
people are selling
Pokestops
food,
there.
people are selling souvenirs, trinkets they've made, all kinds of things like that. So you can make a whole day out of those 3 things.
You really can, and they're right there next to each other. Abita Springs is not a very big place. It's not a busy hustle and bustle like New Orleans.
You walk past Mama D's to get to the little street fair area.
Right, and then the Abita Mystery House is right up the road. Honestly, we probably could have walked.
Could have walked, yeah. It's like around a corner.
Right.
Well, normally we rank things.
Yeah. We're going to have to adjust it, I think.
Yeah, we're going to need a small adjustment on how we rank things. So I guess we'll start with how spooky was the Abita Springs Mystery House?
It had a spook factor, Clay.
You think it had a spook factor?
It did, just because of the clowns and the hallways and it was dark in places, and then there were the taxidermies that were really dim, but you had to light them up. The eyes that you can light up, and all the little dancing skeletons. I'd give it a spoop.
You give it a spoop?
I'd give it a spoop.
I'd say, especially if you're like a child that hasn't had any of this sort of explained to them, there's a certain, whimsical magic to it.
Sure.
Would absolutely spook you. So I guess just for that, it's at least gotta... It's not spoopy.
Right.
So it's at least spoopy.
Sure.
Now, normally, this is the part where I'd ask how likely it is to exist, but obviously we've been there.
I'm pretty sure it exists.
It'd be extremely fucked up if, we turn around and it was gone.
What if this is an alternate reality?
Oh! But instead, I think I'll ask, how authentic do you think the gator variants inside are? Do you think they're legit, or?
Oh, 1,000% legit.
Yeah, they've got to be real.
They've got to be real,
There's
guys.
no way to fake
There's
that.
no way. A 32-foot alligator. I mean,
it sounds impossible.
Have you been to Louisiana?
You see it.
Have you been to New Orleans? Anything's possible.
There's chemical plants around. We don't know what all kinds of monstrosities are created. I mean, we got to see Daryl the dog gator. He's maybe 12 inches away from her face.
Yeah.
Hard to fool me. Hard to fool me.
Right.
Has to be real.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
1,000%.
So what, a 10?
Oh, at least.
Absolutely true?
Yeah.
All right. How likely is John Preble to be an alien? I'm going to have to say he is. Because what he has created is not human. This is not a human creation. It's otherworldly for sure.
That killed me.
If this is, for some reason, your first episode that you're listening to, the questions that we have at the end for the various cryptids are: how likely are you to survive an encounter? How spooky is it? How likely are they to exist? And how likely are they to be an alien?
Mr. Preble, are you an alien? It's okay if you are. You can tell us.
Yeah, you can tell us. We won't tell anybody else.
Especially not on our podcast.
Certainly not on our podcast.
Never. That's
all we have for you today. Sorry about this episode being late. I'm about to edit it right now while we're still recording.
Life has been lifing.
But next week's episode will be on time, and I can say that for absolute certainty because it's already recorded.
It was recorded like a year ago.
Right, yeah. So our next episode will be the Christmas special, where we will talk about various things such as Krampus and the Yule Lads.
And Muddy Lewd,
as well as the
Yule Cat.
The Yule Cat, Caitlin's personal favorite. So be sure to come and listen to that one, I guess. And
absolutely. And Mr. John Preble, you're invited on Obsessed with the Palmers anytime.
Yeah, anytime you want to.
Open invitation, my guy.
Especially if you're an alien.
Please.
What a huge get that would be for us to interview an actual alien.
Can we interview you as an alien?
Let us know. Send us an email at obsessedwiththepalmers@yahoo.com. And, of course, if you have any requests for cryptid, send it there.
You can send that to the obsessedwiththepalmers@yahoo.com. I also somehow managed to get back into the Instagram.
It's alive again.
There was witchcraft involved. Human sacrifices had to be made, but I got into it. So the original Instagram is back up. We also have the Facebook, and it's Obsessed with the Palmers. And there's new merch on the Redbubble store.
There will be an episode that we release on the Wednesday of Christmas. That one is a secret surprise and a present for you. So
from you to us.
Wait, from you to us.
From us to you.
Yeah, give us presents.
Give us presents, you owe us. Think this content is free?
I will leave you with a quote from Mr. Rod Ward of the Tinkertown Museum in Albuquerque that inspired Mr. John Preble. "I did all this while you were watching TV."